Hello. Just gonna get situated here. It's Brandy Nicole, the healing princess herself. Just wanted to come on and do a small teaching on decluttering. Excuse me, decluttering. So, welcome to the Get Fit, Get Healed course. If you are watching this video, that means you are getting ready to start module one and get started on a healing journey. And I want to take a moment to record this video for two reasons. One, to kind of give you a synopsis of some of the things that may be in your way of keeping you bound, but then also an outlet for you to start a clear path and entryway to your healing. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get started with this topic. So, the topic is decluttering. This is very, very, very vital in the healing process. What do I mean by decluttering? Oftentimes, when we have trauma in our life, we have built a life full of clutter. Your house may be cluttered. You may be a hoarder. You may be hoarding things, storing things from your past, whether they're good memories and or bad memories. These things can ultimately be keeping you bound. We're going to talk about that. You could be cluttering. Excuse me, y'all. You might hear the thunder. It's thundering where I am. But you may be having a cluttered mindset. Your mind is in overdraft, right? Overdrive. You are consistently thinking of ideas, you're consistently moving in your mind, you're consistently thinking about trauma from your past over and over again, replaying things over and over again. How does decluttering your mind work? We're going to talk about that. What does your schedule look like? Are you busy 24/7? This is a big one. Okay, because when we start talking about healing process, you have to make sure that you have the time to properly heal, properly do what you need to do to get through your healing, and properly give you the time to process feelings, emotions, and actions and reactions during this process. So we talk about decluttering your time. Furthermore, when we talk about cluttered time, does that stem from some abandonment pieces that you have and it's a mask for you? Are you codependent on staying busy? Because you don't want to deal with your past trauma, because you don't want to deal with your depression, because you don't want to deal with your insecurity, your control issues, things like that. And a lot of times people stay extremely busy so that they don't have to face themselves. So we're going to talk about decluttering your time. Very, very, very important. So when we talk about healing, you're going to go through a surgical process. How many of you know about surgery? So if you don't, let me tell you about the surgery process. Before you have surgery on anything, whether it could be something, it just doesn't matter. Before you have surgery on anything, you have to go through a pre-op appointment. Pre-op is where they're going to draw your blood, they're going to check your weight, they're going to check your blood pressure, your vitals, all of these things to make sure that you and your body can withstand surgery and recover properly afterwards. So what you are getting ready to do is go through your pre-op stage. This is where we're getting ready to check your vitals, check your weight, check your blood pressure, and make sure that your heart, your body, your mind, your emotions are ready to endure the surgical procedure that you're getting ready to face when you go through your healing process. And then the post-op surgery appointment that you're going to need to maintain what you've accomplished during surgery. So when we talk about pre-opportunities and pre-op appointments, I'm talking about the weight. What weight are you carrying exactly? What baggage are you bringing to the table? How much baggage are you bringing to the table that is unnecessary? Do you see what I'm saying? So this is where we're talking about cluttering your time. How much of that time and things that you have cluttered, that you have now created to be a baggage on your back, how much of that are you carrying unnecessarily? We're going to go through that so that we can get you ready for surgery, so that we can get you ready to go under the knife and trust the process that you are going to be able to endure this healing process that you're getting ready to go through. So I want you to look at it like that, because you're getting ready to go through a phase of saying no to everyone else so that you can say yes to yourself. That is what decluttering is, because we're going to point out, discover, and identify These things that you have that are cluttering up your time, cluttering up your mind, cluttering up your peace, and cluttering up your ability to properly get through this course, your healing process, and your spiritual journey. So let me tell you something. When we talk about the spiritual piece of healing, having a cluttered mind, a super busy schedule, being distracted 24/7, these things are going to hinder you spiritually in your growth. This is the devil's playground. He likes to keep you busy and so overwhelmed and so mentally drained that you can't focus on spending time with God, spending time in the Word, and being in position to cast him out of your life properly to where he can stay out. So it's very, very, very important when we start talking about decluttering. This is going to also I'm going to also put you to work physically. Because so not only we're going to emotionally declutter and check our pulse and our vital signs, but we're going to physically declutter our lives, right? So we're talking about your car. I'm talking about your household. Are you hoarding things that you shouldn't? And we're going to talk back about that because a lot of times we hold on to things from our past. We hold on to monumental things or things that maybe an ex gave us or someone that traumatically did something to us. We are holding on to something, a piece of them that we need to let go and we need to declutter from, right? Because it's keeping us bound whether we know it or not. So we're going to talk about those pieces too in the decluttering phase. What are you holding on to from your past trauma that needs to be thrown out? It needs to be vanished. It needs to be discarded. But you're hoarding on to it, keeping it relevant in your space, in your life, in your domain where you live, where you're supposed to have peace. How can you bring past trauma into your current situation and expect it to be peaceful, righteous, pure, those type of things? So how does that look in your life? That is very, very important. But physically, are you keeping clutter in your home? Are you keeping clutter in your vehicle? How do we expect to be blessed to the next level with better opportunities, better cars, better, and this is not just solely about materialistic things. It's solely about you understanding that you have to get rid of old stuff and declutter it in order for God to trust you with new, bigger, better opportunities, whether they're spiritual growth, whether this is physical growth. If you can't run and stay committed to running a mile, how do we expect to be elevated to then begin to run too? Right? It takes a level of consistency, decluttering your mind, decluttering the fear, decluttering the aches, the pains mentally that is keeping you bound. So this is going to be something that you can carry all through your healing process, whether it's physical, mental, spiritual, financial. How do you expect to be a good steward of money with this amount that he's giving you, but expect him to bless you with a bigger amount when you haven't shown the discipline of decluttering your bad habits with the smaller amount, right? So when we talk about decluttering, it fits on every single level. And so this particular module is absolutely imperative that you begin a decluttering phase. How are you going to be able to focus on your healing if you cannot get to the gym every day to do your exercises and to properly do your healing work because your mind is saying, I have to go over here, I have to do this for this person, I have to go over here and I have to do this. Is it necessary? And then how do you determine what stays and what goes? All very, very, very important factors that you are going to have to discover for yourself during this process of decluttering. Now, this is not something you want to rush through. I mean, we're talking about your whole life and what you have been accustomed to doing over time. But see, it's not working. So since we are becoming a better version of ourselves, we're becoming the diamond in our life, we have to now do things differently. You can't expect different results when you're continuing to do the same things that ultimately did not help you succeed the first time when it pertains to evolving or healing into someone different, right? So take this particular step very serious because it sets the foundation and the tone on what's to come next. You see, because when I give you your assignment, I need you to be able to mentally focus on that assignment. I need you to be able to focus on it wholeheartedly without distractions from everything else that you have going on in the world. This has to be a priority because remember, you are only getting to a place where you are discovering and becoming something that you've never become before, that you've never been able to be before. So we want to do things different. So it's going to be uncomfortable to get rid of certain things, to get rid of certain people, right? How do you declutter people? This is where you have to do inventory. Inventory on who you have around you. Are they serving you good purpose, good peace, right? Are they in alignment with where you're going? You see, oftentimes they may have been in alignment with where you were, but are they in alignment with where you're going? That is what your focus has to be on. You see, because a lot of people are there because they benefit from the trauma that you've been through. They benefit from the depressed version of you. They benefit from the version of you that won't fight for yourself and won't speak up for yourself. They benefit from you being so busy because they're always the one that has their hand out that needs some help from you. And you're ready and available every time they decide to open their mouth and say they need you. Absolutely not. It's time for you to say no to others and yes to yourself. So, who do you need to declutter out of your friendships, relationships, any kind of situationships, whatever you want to call it in modern day? Who do you need to declutter from? Who needs to go? This is the season, this is the time, this is the module that we're going to do all of those type of thinkings and findings so that you can move on to your next level of becoming. Decluttering is absolutely imperative in this process. Besides, you cannot move to your next phase of surgery until you do this. Because see, your blood pressure has to be on point. Your weight has to be on point. You know, stress keeps a lot of weight and our cortisol high. You know what I'm saying? To the point where it's no longer working in our favor. So we must declutter the things that are bringing us stress and keeping us from the gym and keeping us mentally distracted, keeping us spiritually distracted. Because if it's something that is, we're going to talk about that decluttering because we have to get rid of idols. What are you idolizing more than you being able to spend time with God and in your Bible? You can't be so busy doing everything else for everyone else that you are too tired and then don't have time to actually spend with God and in your Bible. That means you have to declutter some things because, see, that is very, very important. And if it's keeping you from Him, it's keeping you from you. So, this is major. And I hope that me saying some of these things is giving you an open eye to start thinking about what I'm saying. Think about someone who hoards a house. They don't want to get rid of anything, right? Everything's monumentous. I cannot rid myself of it. This reminds me of Uncle Pookie, who, did this back in 1783. Meanwhile, Uncle Pookie could have been the cause of molestation to this particular person, caused all of this family dynamic and drama, but you're holding on to a piece of him in your new home that you can't even walk through because you won't rid yourself of anything. What happens when a hoarder hoards? The house gets unbearable. The living conditions become unbearable. You can't even walk through the house. You can't sleep on the bed. You can't clean. It's to a point where you can't do anything but just tear it down, right? People, they just have to do a full gut of the house because it becomes uncontrollable We don't want to hoard the traumatic events of our life so long that it alters who we are, that it takes and keeps control of us. And for many of us, that's exactly what has happened. You've hoarded it in here so long, and you've cluttered your mind and your actions by ignoring it to the point that everything has crumbled. Now your emotions are all out of whack. Your children are all out of whack because you can't really give them the focus that they need. You're out of whack. You actually don't even know who you are. You build a life so strong on the fake persona of you, the person and the version you hope you are, or you may want to be, versus the actual person that you are. And we're going to talk about that too, because fake versus reality is a big thing when we talk about healing. Because a lot of times people have put on the mask of who they want to be or who they want the world to think that they are. And their authentic self is dying in the inside. But that authentic self can't even cry out authentically because it's too much clutter around it. It's too much around it. It has no room to go anywhere else. It doesn't even know where to do. It can't move. It just stays there hidden. And you continue to present yourself unauthentically. So decluttering is absolutely important. It's time for you to do some inventory. And we are going to do that. I'm going to put that in the module. We're going to declutter the people in your life. We're going to declutter your time. Now is the time to get quiet. Surgery is solo. Surgery, you are sedated. And you're trusting that surgeon to operate on you. Your surgeon in this case is God. But you got to walk into the surgery room and you got to walk in there prepared to give him the time to speak to you without distraction, without clutter, without negative influence, without trauma over here and other people's trauma, because this is your turn to get surgically recover from your own. Are you ready to declutter your life? Are you ready to give up the habits that are keeping you bound? Are you ready to rid yourself of the word curses that you're keeping in your own life to keep yourself bound? Are you ready to stop spending money on things unnecessarily? Are you ready to rid yourself of all trauma and the habits and influences and direct assertions keeping you in a sunken place? You will be surprised at what that looks like in its totality. You will be surprised. You may not be able to hang out and do the things that you once did. Why? Because they do not serve where you are going. They do not serve who you are becoming. And that's what I mean. Ooh, it's a bug, y'all. Flying. And that's what I mean. Try to get that. That's what I mean. Are you ready to declutter? Say no to the things that no longer serve the life that you are wanting to have. The people, places, and things that you have known all of this time, all of your life that you're comfortable with. If it doesn't serve where you're going, who you're becoming, where God is calling you to be, you're going to have to rid yourself of it. It's time to declutter. It's time to declutter in all arenas. A lot of times we invest in our own detriment, in our own pain and trauma. And we're going to talk about that when I discuss in another video about the AAA, my AAA method. But decluttering is exactly that. You getting rid of the things that no longer serve you and where you're going. And you saying no to others. Some of us, oh, we got to help everybody. No, you don't. It's not your assignment. Everybody is not your assignment. Everybody's not your assignment. And during your time of healing and during your time of surgery, they are definitely not your assignment. So I need you to think very, very hard about what that looks like in your world. We teach people how to love us or unlove us, right? We teach people how to treat us or not treat us by what we allow. So some people have gotten so used to you saying yes that they abuse that. They'll call you for everything. So this is where you have to set healthy boundaries. Again, if they do not serve where you're going and who you're becoming, you're going to, and you must say no. And be okay with saying no. Okay? We're going to get you to a place where saying no does not make you feel guilty. There's nothing wrong with you filling your own cup. That's something you haven't done in the past, because if you had, you wouldn't be in this course, right? Healing is all about healing. But the unhealed you will feel guilty for not stressing yourself or overextending yourself to everybody else. Once you get healed, you understand that that is a healthy boundary, and that is an amazing feeling. Once you know how to manage your time, you won't overwhelm yourself. Once you're at peace with yourself and who you are, you won't feel the need to people please. And that's just real. A lot of you are people pleasers. Why? Because you are dealing with some issues, whether it be abandonment issues, whether it be different type of issues, but you feel like the only way you are loved is if you are doing something for someone else. The only way you feel like you're worthy is if you are doing something for someone else. But what does that do for you? That keeps you so distracted that you can't focus on your own healing, your own happiness, your own joy, your own health, whether it's mental health and or physical health. You're running all over the city helping everybody else. You can't get to the gym like you're supposed to. You can't eat the right things. So you're on the go so much, you're on the go. So you eat out instead of making you a nice, healthy meal at home, because you are people pleasing and running after everyone else and their needs, and you're neglecting yourself. And so we have to get you to a place where you're no longer cluttered with that guilt or cluttered with that necessity to feel like you belong. Your healing journey is absolutely what should be most important to you. You are a superstar, you are a diamond, and you are getting ready to become the biggest diamond in your own life. Do you love you enough? Do you feel you are worth it enough to declutter the very pieces of you that are keeping you bound in your own trauma? Ask yourself that. If your answer is yes, you are in the right place, because you are worthy. You're absolutely worth it. So, during this time, I'm going to give you some set instructions where I'm going to have you, with great detail, think about the different stages that I talked about and how we can declutter and begin the decluttering phase of your journey. All right? So, welcome, welcome. I'm so happy that you have decided to heal with me. Please, 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 please. If you know anything else, I am rooting for you always. Trust this process. It's not going to be easy. I'm gonna be honest with you. There will be times you probably gonna be like, I do not like Coach. And that's okay. That means I'm doing my job because I am here to change the patterns of your life and help you create healthy boundaries, patterns, and resources for yourself all the way to the end. So, we are going to begin by getting rid of the things that is keeping us bound, that's weighing us down, the constant bags that we just throw over our shoulder. And now we've been so loaded that the bag is so heavy, your shoulders are giving out, you're getting weak, you are so lost. You have no more, you're parched, you need water, right? Somebody give me some water so I can just breathe for a minute. I need sleep. I just need somebody to cut the phone off for a moment or send me on a spa day. You know, sometimes we need those things, and we're going to talk about those things too. How to love ourselves and have great self care. But for right now, let's go ahead and get you started. We're getting ready to declutter in every aspect of your life. I look forward to seeing you and hearing your revelation of what you need to declutter from your schedule, from your life, what people you're going to be decluttering, the whole nine. I look forward to our conversation. And so, in the meantime, get your journal and begin to think about how you're getting ready to declutter and take a moment to, like I said, declutter your space, your living space. You will be surprised at how much more space you really have to heal, how much more space in your life you really have to be joyful and to enjoy your life than you think. So with that, we'll to the next video comes along. You guys take so good care of yourselves. Thank you for choosing me. I'm choosing you right back, and I look forward to helping you out on this journey. Let's get to decluttering. Have a good one.